What's good, everybody? It's CJ Beats. We're back at it again today. Today we're going to make some guitar trap beats in Logic Pro X right after this. Appreciate you guys joining. So I already came up with this guitar melody, and I'm going to let you hear it first, and then we're going to get into how to create a guitar melody like this. So I got two chords playing here. And then on top of it, I got this, strumming melody. The sound that I'm using for this right now comes out of Omnisphere, but I also opened up an instance of classical acoustic guitar inside of Logic. All right, let's talk about how I created this this guitar melody. It's actually two chords that I played on my keyboard first, and usually I do that to just get a feel for what I'm going for. Bring that down an octave. So we got a minor that I played and a D minor, A and D minor, and I basically just played that over, a click track like this with the countdown enabled. It's just two chords that I played like that. I'm going to loop it. I'm going to right click and then hit join. You could find it under bounce and join if you can't find it at the top. Join, and that'll make a 4-bar progression like that. It's an easy way to copy stuff over anyway. So, first thing I did was I came into this MIDI here and actually quantized it first, and then I started, adding some strumming effects just by spreading them apart just a bit like that. It gives it that strumming effect. Don't want it sounding too robotic. We're trying to go for a hand-picked guitar feel here. And, if they're not 100% the same, that's also good. Gives it some more variation. Maybe have the last one spread out a little more. All right, and then using my brush tool, came in here using like an eighth note, and I tried to, find some notes that would, match what I played so far. I'm just using my ears. I'm not really going off any scale or anything like that. So that's good. And then, might be a little different from what I have here because I can't really remember what I did, but just to, give you the idea. It's actually nice. So now we can, make our lives easy, copy that over, and then we'll find a little more variation by adding some tension. And that's a technique in guitar, is like adding this tension to give it more syncopation. And then, the way to do that is by adding these accent notes in that scale that are pretty close together. It's almost like picking the, the strings like that. And we'll do that for a couple of these here. And if that one doesn't, maybe bring it down one. You'll hear if it doesn't work. And you want to maybe add some, like variation in the volume too. So you can come up here, use the note velocity. You can make them different volume levels, especially the ones that you clicked in, because they're all like the same volume. So you got to make sure to, add that variation to make it more humanized. Like that one's a little loud, I feel like. Can add a few more tension notes here. Just like that. Try something different. And then same for these, we'll give them a little more variation in volume. And we don't need a tension cord at the end there, it works. So I already put an EQ on that and a reverb, but just to show you the EQ curve, so I'm cutting out anything below 200. I dipped that 500 in because I felt like that was a little too tinny for the ear, or too muddy for the ear, I should say. Added, boosted that 1 to 10K range just a bit to give it that clarity. Let you hear it without it. It's muddy. This is the reverb that I added. So if I were to, actually bring this down to the classical acoustic guitar, this is the sound that comes with Logic. So for those of you that might not have Omnisphere, I'm going to give you the project file as always with most of my tutorials. So I'll put a link in the description for you to download this project so you could follow along or make your own beat out of it, whatever you want to do. Let's go ahead and bring in our mixer. So I just hit X on the keyboard. I'm going to get rid of these buses that got created while I created that a classical acoustic guitar instance. So we're going to do, we're going to say no send. Same for this guy here. I don't want any bus routing happening. I just want that nice and clean so that I can add my own stuff if I need to. So that sounds kind of dull, right? In comparison to the other one. So I'm going to remove these plugins here. It's kind of low. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of compression to this sound so that we can make it stand out a little more here. Should be a preset for guitars, and let's see, acoustic guitar. And it's not bad, but it's still not Omnisphere. Let's see what they sound like combined. Okay, let's add our first rhythmic element here. We're going to put in a hi-hat. So I'm just going to lower these guys here. All right, let's draw in a 32 note. And then we'll just copy this over. Find the clap, add our claps, bring that volume up though. All right, let's add an 808 here just to get the that low end going already. And hit join again, maybe add a second one here like that. Once this part comes up here, that 5 to 9 bars, add the kick. I actually like that one off like that. Make sure we get eighth notes going. Oh, that's fire. A little unconventional, but all right, maybe we can, you know, make this guitar sound a little bit better. I don't know. I'm gonna try and stick with stock sounds here. So I just added a flanger to it. What if I double these up and maybe find a different guitar? So classic clean, acoustic guitar harmonics. And then what I want to do is okay, so what I'm going to do now here is create a sample out of this guitar. So I'm going to bounce this in place using both those sounds. And then with this new guy, maybe what we can do is chop it up a little bit, the sample. So I'm going to use my scissor tool and hit Command Shift down, or Command Alt rather, and make multiple chops right there. And then we're going to reverse all of these here. Okay, let's come in here and using our fade tool, let's make a little bit of an indentation like that so that the sample doesn't have these choppy noises. That usually happens when you're reversing stuff. Put one here. As you can see, it's happening actually to all of the samples since I highlighted all of them. Make that same curve at the end. Let's add the drums, see what that sounds like. Now what we could do is maybe add a lot of reverb to this. Or actually flanger sounds dope too. See what it sounds like when I add the guitars back on top of it. add some silver reverb to that as well. Like removing the dry sometimes and adding only wet gives it a nice effect for reverb. And you know, for the purpose of the arrangement of this beat, I'm going to bring these elements back, but what we're going to do is actually route these through an aux channel, and then we're going to add like a halftime something to it to like make it sound a little different. So select those. Let's go over to bus. So basically, I just selected these two, right? Shift and select. And what I'm going to do now is send these to a bus number 3, which is a new aux channel. And then here I'm going to add this Cable Guys halftime plugin. Super cheap. You should definitely get it if you don't have it yet. You know, mess around with the settings here and see what it sounds like here. Sometimes I'll bring the mix like at 50%. Now what you do need to do is add an EQ after adding a halftime so that you can cut the lows back out, because it creates a lot of low end. That's at a quarter loop. Let's try half. If it's too low, what you could do too with the MIDI is just select all of them. That's Command A, and then Alt Shift and up. One frequency in the middle that I'm not really a fan of. It's right there. If you exaggerate it, you can definitely, you know, hear it and then tone that frequency down. Still bothers me. Alright, so there are some techniques to make guitar trap beats in Logic Pro X. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, maybe even learned something. So with that being said, if you could hit that subscribe and that bell button, I'd highly appreciate it. Trying to get to 100K, I'm at like 61,000, so we need 39 more thousand of you to hit that subscribe button. So I'd really appreciate it if you help me out that way. As I mentioned before, this entire Logic project file, the template will be available for download. I'll put the link in the description, as well as in the cards again up here. So download this beat, you know, use the sounds that came with the template and make your own beat out of it, whatever you'd like to do. Follow me on Instagram at cjbeatznyc and let me hear what you got. I'm going to sign off at this point. Thanks so much again for watching. My name is CJ, and I'm out for now. Peace.